Welcome to the Pawnee-Buchanan Loop in Colorado's Indian Peaks Wilderness. I've been trying to do this 27-mile loop for ages. I've had permits 3 times and the timing has just never worked out with the weather or other conditions. For example, it's now mid-September. I'm finally doing it. I had planned to do it at the end of June and there was still a dangerous snow cornice on one of the passes of this loop, so it just didn't work out. So finally, I am out here and I wanted to take you guys along. So I'm out here with my friends Pika and Johnny, so you'll be seeing them a lot in this video, especially Johnny because he's a long-legged man, so he's often hiking in front of me. The total elevation gain on this hike over about 27 miles is 6,600 feet, so that's nothing to scoff at. That's a decent amount of elevation gain. This hike, well, the way that we're doing it, it starts at the Brainerd Lake Recreation Area at the Mitchell Lake Trailhead. You do need wilderness permits to do this hike between June 1st and September 15th. And you also, if you are parking in the Brainerd Lake Recreation Area, you also need parking permits. This loop, the way that we're doing it, we have started at the Mitchell Lake Trailhead. So ideally, if you were doing it this way, you would park at the Mitchell Lake Trailhead, but that's kind of a smaller parking lot, so it's a little bit harder to get parking permits for that one. So we actually parked at the Brainerd Lake parking area, which adds somewhere between like half a mile and 3/4 of a mile each way. We're gonna be popping out at the Long Lake Trailhead, so if you were doing this trail in reverse, you could also park at the Long Lake Trailhead to start with, but again, you do need permits. And that parking area is really tiny, so I'm not even sure they do overnight permits for parking in that lot. This wilderness is especially known for having a lot of moose, so it might be a good backpacking trip for you if you're on the hunt to see moose. I've seen probably 50 Colorado moose, and most of them have been in the Indian Peaks Wilderness, many of those in the Brainerd Lake Recreation Area. Anyway, come along as Pika, Johnny, and I hike the Pawnee-Buchanan Loop. We have arrived at the Brainerd Lake parking area. From here, you can walk via the road or the trail to the Mitchell Lake Trailhead. But first, we're passing by Brainerd Lake. Usually you can see the mountains in the distance, but not today. About halfway around the lake, we're catching the Mitchell Lake Trail. This will take us over to the Mitchell Lake Trailhead. This is important to know because we almost messed it up. When you get to the Mitchell Lake Trailhead, do not take the Mitchell Lake Trail. Take the Beaver Creek and Mount Audubon Trail. As you're looking straight on at the parking lot, it's on the right side. Buchanan Pass, 9 miles.
Yikes.
It's a bit of a gloomy day out here today, so we're hoping that the weather holds. What a view! It's September 15th. Still got some wild raspberries on the trail. About 1.6 miles in from the Mitchell Lake Trailhead, the trail splits and we're going toward Beaver Creek. This is the Beaver Creek Trailhead. I guess you could also start here. Rainy, cold morning so far, but it's still pretty out. There's Pika. Climbing up our first pass of this backpacking trip, Buchanan Pass. Got about a mile to the top. We've been going steadily uphill for a couple of miles. It's not been too bad. Trail's kind of rocky, but other than that, it's pretty out here. The weather is starting to break, thank goodness. Hoping we get some nice views. The weather does not look super promising up there. Wish us luck. Going straight back up into the fog. Yuck. It's really cold up here. Update, it's hailing out here.
It's gross.
Yeah. I definitely lost my JMT lungs and legs already. This pass is feeling tough. Probably doesn't help that it's really cold outside. Got some ptarmigans here. And by the way, it's actively snowing. There's more down there. 2 of them. Snow in mid-September. Woo! There's Johnny up there. Okay, I think this is the top. Hopefully we can descend out of the snow. I'm sure this is so beautiful when the weather cooperates. Can just barely see some trees and things right across the way. But oh man, we can hardly see a thing. What you think of this weather, Johnny? You can kind of see the mountains over there. Okay, you can kind of see some stuff out there now. Clearing up a little bit. After descending a little bit and getting back down in the trees, the sun's out now. It definitely feels warmer, thank goodness. This is our campsite for tonight, about a mile down from the summit. Seems like there's a lot of little side trails to campsites in this area, this meadow area. Made it to camp, night 1. We've already had dinner. We're about to go in our tents early because it is really freaking cold out here tonight. I'm pretty nervous because I'm a really cold sleeper. So we'll see how it goes. We descended about a mile down from Buchanan Pass, so we did about 10 miles today. And I'm not exactly sure what elevation we're at, but I know it's below 11,000 feet. I really wanted to descend a little bit because in hopes that it would be a little bit warmer. I am sharing a tent with Pika, that Nemo Hornet 3-person, because we're gonna be sharing a tent in Patagonia later in the fall. And so she just got this new tent and we wanted to test it out before Patagonia. This is probably gonna be our last Colorado backpack trip of the year. So, but compared to my little Z-Pax Pleximid, it's like a palace in there. So I'm hoping Pika helps to keep me warm tonight. We'll see. Socks are frozen this morning, but I brought extra pairs, so it's okay. My pack has some frost on it too. Oh yeah, tent's got some frost on it this morning. Look at all this frost. My Kulikov is also frozen solid. Ah. This is a really pretty morning though. Look at that. Okay, it's definitely a pretty chilly night, but honestly, I stayed really toasty in my sleeping bag. I definitely think that sharing the tent with Pika helped with that. And honestly, this is really good practice because I have a couple of hikes coming up this fall, which are potentially going to be pretty chilly, including the Wonderland Trail at the end of September and Patagonia in November. So I feel like this is all just like really good practice to get the kinks out for cold weather backpacking and camping. And so I'll be hopefully super prepared for what's coming up. Today we are going up Pawnee Pass. Yesterday was Buchanan, today is Pawnee. We have a few miles downhill first. It looks like a haul. It looks like a really big climb to get up that pass. It's like 6 miles. I'm not sure on the elevation gain. I'm gonna have to check that out, but it looks like a beast. So we'll see where we end up today, but probably we'll go over Pawnee, I would think. So we'll be camping somewhere on the other side tonight. And hopefully we won't get any more snow. It'll just be sunshine and blue skies from here on out. Just gonna leave these in the sun over breakfast. Hopefully they get a little less frozen. By the way, if you do think your shoes might freeze overnight, make sure your laces are wide open like this and take out your insoles the night before. I learned this trick from Pika, who's had frozen shoes before. Johnny's got ice in his water bag. He's trying to get it out. And we're off to the races this morning. Look at this beautiful meadow. I forgot to mention that yesterday we passed these hunters who were hunting with like bow and arrows, and they told us that they lost their white llama. Like it escaped from camp. So they took my number and they were like, if you see the llama, please like let us know. So we have a bet going within our little crew. Whoever spots the llama first gets a beer. No llama sightings yet though. Especially after the JMT, I can't tell you how much I'm loving seeing all this green. Looks like there was an avalanche here. Loving these fall colors on the plants. This looks like a woolly bear, but it's all black. It's perfect hiking weather right now. It's so pretty out this morning. Night and day from yesterday's snowstorm. So pretty out there. The aspens are starting to turn, but they're not quite there yet. This way to Pawnee Fest. And we're starting our long climb up Pawnee Pass. Wow, so pretty. By the way, I double checked. It's about 3,700 feet of elevation gain to the top of the pass. These are cute. This is so stunning. So here's the cutoff to the Crater Lake Trail. If you want to make this loop longer, you can go up to Crater and Mirror Lakes. So I actually have done that trail before, starting from a different trailhead on the other side of the Continental Divide over by Granby. It's so pretty. Mirror and Crater Lakes are just stunning. So it's definitely worth it if you want to make this loop longer, or if you want to check out the other way to go, you could check out my video. I'll put it up above. Yeah, it's really pretty up there, but we're not going there today. We are instead continuing up Pawnee Pass back to the Long Lake Trailhead. Check out these beautiful Indian peaks over here. We are at a lake. We don't know what it's called though. We're still on this side of Pawnee Pass.
Where's the path?
So we're camping above the lake tonight. Let me show you inside this palace that me and Pika are sleeping in. So much space. Kind of hoping to go up and over Pawnee Pass today, but apparently as soon as you get over the pass, you enter the 4 lake zone, which you can't camp in. I knew you couldn't camp in the 4 lake zone, but I did not realize that it started so soon. So these other guys who are camping around here had told us, like, you can't camp on the other side. So we were like, okay, let's just stop at this lake. We have a nice view of the lake from up near our campsite. And we've got a pretty view of some mountains behind our campsite. Rolling out of camp this morning at about 8 a.m. We've got 1.5 miles to the top of Pawnee Pass, 1,500 feet of elevation gain. Woof. That'll wake you up in the morning, that's for sure. Let's go. That's the lake where we came from. Going up. Got some ice on the trail this morning. Going up some more. Looking back at where we came from, so pretty. Trail is nothing but rocks at this part. There are tons of switchbacks going up this pass, so to me it feels super reasonable. There's Pika coming up behind me. We're almost to the top. This top part's pretty rough. It's loose, it's steep, and it's hard to follow the trail. The wind up here is real. My eyes are watering. Coming up on the top here. That wind. Look at that. Pawnee Pass Continental Divide. Elevation 12,550 feet. Woo woo. Guys, we did it. That's the view behind us. Super pretty. That's where we're going. It's like a beach down there too. Welcome to Lake Isabel, one of my very favorite places in the entire world. This is just a couple miles from the end of the trail. I have another video on how to do this as a day hike. If you're interested, I'll link that down in the show notes. But seriously, this is one of my very favorite places ever. I love it so much. It's really looking like fall down here. It's really pretty. Oh, it's down here. Made it to the Long Lake trailhead. Now we just have to walk down the road back to Brainerd Lake. And we're back. We've made it back. 10 out of 10 adventure. Highly recommend. Really, really liked this loop. It was worth the wait. No llama or moose spottings, but what are you gonna do? Thanks for being here. As always, you guys, don't forget to subscribe for more hiking, backpacking, and outdoor content, and I'll see you next time.